Welcome to Learnly English, the podcast where we explore the trends shaping our interconnected world. I'm Sarah, and today I'm joined by my co-host, David. We're diving into a topic that affects billions of people worldwide: why English has become the ultimate key to unlocking opportunities in 2025.
Thanks, Sarah. When we started planning this episode, I was initially skeptical about whether English really deserves this master key status. But the more research I did, the more I realized just how dramatically the landscape has shifted, especially in the past few years.
Absolutely. And David, you bring such a unique perspective to this conversation. You're originally from Taiwan, learned English as a second language, and now you're working in international tech consulting. Meanwhile, I grew up bilingual in the US with Spanish and English. We've both seen firsthand how language can either open doors or create barriers.
Let's start with the elephant in the room, the digital revolution. Sarah, I was looking at some statistics that honestly blew my mind. Over 60% of all websites are in English, even though only about 20% of the world's population speaks English natively or fluently.
Those numbers are staggering, but they tell a story. Think about it. Whether you're trying to learn coding, start an e-commerce business, or even just troubleshoot your smartphone, the vast majority of resources, tutorials, and documentation are in English.
Exactly. I remember when I was learning to code in college back in Taiwan. All the best programming languages, Python, JavaScript, Java, they all use English keywords. The error messages, the documentation, Stack Overflow discussions. Everything was in English. Students who couldn't read English fluently were at a massive disadvantage.
And it's not just coding. Let's talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning. David, you work with AI tools daily. What's the language situation there?
It's incredible, Sarah. ChatGPT, Claude, Google Bard. All these AI systems perform significantly better when you prompt them in English. I've tested the same complex query in Mandarin and English, and the English responses are consistently more detailed and accurate. It's like having access to a more powerful version of the same tool.
That's a perfect example of what I call the compound advantage of English. It's not just that opportunities exist in English, it's that the tools to create and capitalize on those opportunities work better in English. Let's shift to remote work, which has completely exploded since 2020. David, you've worked remotely with teams across multiple continents. How critical is English in this new work landscape?
It's everything, Sarah. I'm working on a project right now with developers from Brazil, designers from Poland, and product managers from Singapore. English is our only common language. But here's what's fascinating. The companies offering the highest-paying remote positions almost exclusively require English proficiency.
Can you give us some concrete examples?
Sure. I was recently looking at remote job boards, websites like remote.co, We Work Remotely, AngelList. A software developer position for a U.S. company might pay $80,000 to $120,000 annually for remote work. The same role at a local company in many countries might pay $20,000 to $40,000. The English requirement isn't just about communication. It's about accessing a global talent market with global salary standards.
That's a 4-to-1 salary difference just based on language access. And it's not limited to tech, is it?
Not at all. Digital marketing, content creation, customer support, project management, graphic design, virtually every field that can be done remotely shows this pattern. English proficiency has become the gateway to economic mobility for millions of people worldwide.
Let's talk education, because this might be where the opportunity gap is most pronounced. David, what did you notice when you started taking online courses?
The disparity is shocking, Sarah. Platforms like Coursera, edX, Udemy, they offer courses from Harvard, MIT, Stanford completely free or for a fraction of traditional tuition costs. But the vast majority of high-quality courses are in English only.
I've seen this firsthand too. My cousin in Mexico wanted to learn data science. The Spanish language courses were either outdated, superficial, or extremely expensive. But she found incredible courses in English from top universities, completely free. She spent 6 months improving her English specifically to access better educational content.
And the ripple effects are enormous. Better education leads to better job prospects, higher salaries, more opportunities to start businesses. It's not just individual advancement. Entire families and communities benefit when someone gains English proficiency and accesses these educational resources.
What about professional certifications? That's another area where English dominance is really apparent.
Absolutely. Whether it's AWS Cloud certifications, Google Analytics certifications, project management credentials from PMI, the most valuable and internationally recognized certifications are primarily offered in English. I have friends who are brilliant professionals in their fields, but they can't advance to senior roles because they can't obtain these certifications due to language barriers.
Let's explore entrepreneurship because I think this is where English creates some of the most dramatic opportunities. David, you've advised several startups. What role does English play in building a business today?
Sarah, it's fundamental. If you want to build a business that scales beyond your local market, English is non-negotiable. Think about it, you want to raise venture capital? The biggest VC firms in Silicon Valley, London, and Singapore conduct business in English. You want to sell on Amazon globally? English product descriptions perform better in search algorithms. Sure. I worked with a startup founder from Colombia who created an innovative fitness app. Initially, she focused only on Spanish-speaking
markets.
markets.
You share a specific example?
The app was moderately successful, maybe 10,000 users after a year. Then she invested in improving her English and relaunched with English marketing and an English interface. Within 6 months, she had 100,000 users across 15 countries and attracted seed funding from a U.S. investor.
That's a 10x growth just from language accessibility. And the venture capital aspect you mentioned is huge. English isn't just helpful for raising money, it's practically required, isn't it?
Exactly. The global venture capital ecosystem operates primarily in English. Pitch decks, due diligence materials, investor updates, everything needs to be in English to access international capital. I've seen brilliant entrepreneurs with revolutionary ideas struggle to get funding simply because they couldn't effectively communicate their vision in English.
Talk about content creation, which has become a legitimate career path for millions of people. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. How does language affect success on these platforms? And
the numbers speak for themselves, Sarah. English language content has access to a potential audience of over 1.5 billion English speakers worldwide, plus millions more who understand English as a second language. That's compared to, say, 460 million Spanish speakers or 380 million Arabic speakers.
Monetization opportunities scale with audience size, right? It's not
massively. English language YouTubers can earn from global advertising markets, international brand sponsorships, and worldwide merchandise sales. I know creators who speak English as a second language but choose to create content in English specifically because the earning potential is so much higher.
Not just about audience size, though. The infrastructure for content monetization is more developed in English-speaking markets, isn't it? David?
Absolutely. Affiliate marketing programs, sponsorship platforms, merchandise services, they're all more sophisticated and lucrative in English-speaking markets. Plus, the biggest brands looking for influencer partnerships operate globally and communicate in English.
Let's discuss academia and scientific research, because this is an area where English dominance has really accelerated in recent years.
This might be the most stark example, Sarah. I was looking at research publication data recently. Over 80% of peer-reviewed scientific papers are now published in English, regardless of the researcher's native languages. If you're a scientist and you can't read and write in English, you're essentially cut off from the global scientific community.
And the implications go far beyond just reading papers, don't they? What about?
Exactly. International conferences, research collaborations, grant applications to major funding bodies like the National Science Foundation or European Research Council. Everything requires English proficiency. I know researchers in developing countries who have groundbreaking ideas but can't access international funding or collaboration opportunities due to language barriers.
Academic career advancement. How does English proficiency affect that? Let's dive deep.
Is career-defining. Universities worldwide are increasingly emphasizing international collaboration and publication in high-impact English-language journals. Professors who can't operate in English find themselves stuck at local institutions with limited resources and recognition.
Deeper into technology access because I think this creates a compounding effect. David, beyond just using technology, how does English proficiency affect someone's ability to stay current with technological innovation?
Sarah, this is where the opportunity gap becomes almost exponential. New technologies, software updates, emerging platforms, they're almost always documented in English first. By the time information gets translated, if it ever does, early adopters who speak English have already gained months or years of competitive advantage.
Can you give us a concrete example from your own experience?
Perfect example, when OpenAI released ChatGPT in late 2022, all the documentation, tutorials, and best practices were in English. People who could understand English immediately started building businesses around AI, creating AI-powered services, optimizing their workflows. Those who had to wait for translations or rely on basic local content missed months of opportunity in one of the fastest-moving technological shifts we've ever seen.
And this pattern repeats with every major tech innovation, doesn't it? Blockchain, cloud computing, social media marketing. English speakers get first access to the knowledge and tools needed to capitalize on these trends.
Exactly. It creates what economists call network effects. The more opportunities that become available in English, the more valuable English proficiency becomes, which attracts more opportunities to English-speaking markets, and the cycle continues.
Let's talk about networking because in today's economy, it's often not just what you know, but who you know. How does English proficiency affect someone's ability to build professional networks?
This is huge, Sarah. LinkedIn has over 900 million users worldwide, and it operates primarily in English. Professional conferences, industry meetups, online communities, the most valuable networking opportunities happen in English. I've seen talented professionals remain isolated in local markets simply because they can't participate in global professional conversations.
And the quality of connections available through English language networks is different too, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you're a marketing professional, for example, you can connect directly with marketing leaders from Google, Apple, or Microsoft through English language professional networks. You can participate in discussions with industry thought leaders, access insider knowledge, and build relationships that can transform your career. These opportunities simply don't exist at the same level in most non-English professional networks.
David, we've painted a very compelling picture of English as an opportunity creator, but we should also acknowledge the barriers and challenges. Not everyone has equal access to English education, right?
You're absolutely right, Sarah. We need to be honest about this. Quality English education is expensive and often inaccessible in many parts of the world. Rural communities, low-income families, people in countries with limited educational infrastructure, they face significant barriers to English proficiency.
And there are cultural considerations too. Some people worry that emphasizing English proficiency could lead to the erosion of local languages and cultures.
That's a legitimate concern. I've seen communities where young people become so focused on English that they lose fluency in their native languages. It's a delicate balance between accessing global opportunities and preserving cultural identity.
But there are ways to approach this thoughtfully, aren't there? It doesn't have to be either-or.
Definitely. Some of the most successful global professionals I know are multilingual. They use English as a professional tool while maintaining deep connections to their cultural roots. The key is framing English as an addition to, not a replacement for, native language skills.
Let's pivot to practical advice. For someone listening who wants to improve their English proficiency to access these opportunities, what would you recommend, David?
First, I'd say focus on practical, career-relevant English rather than perfect grammar. If you're in tech, learn the English used in your specific field. If you're in marketing, focus on business English and persuasive writing. Specialized vocabulary and context matter more than perfect pronunciation.
Great advice. What about leveraging technology for learning?
The tools available now are incredible. Language exchange apps like HelloTalk or Tandem let you practice with native speakers for free. YouTube channels provide specialized English training for every profession. Apps like Grammarly help improve your writing in real time. And honestly, AI tools like ChatGPT can serve as conversation partners and writing coaches 24/7.
What immersion strategies for people who can't travel to English-speaking countries?
Create digital immersion, Sarah. Change your phone's language to English. Watch Netflix with English subtitles. Join English language Discord servers or Reddit communities related to your interests. Follow English-speaking professionals on LinkedIn and engage with their content. The internet makes immersion possible from anywhere.
Looking ahead, David, do you think English will maintain this dominant position, or could we see changes as translation technology improves?
That's a fascinating question. AI translation is getting incredibly good. Tools like DeepL and Google Translate are becoming remarkably accurate. But I think English will maintain its advantage for several reasons. First, real-time nuanced communication still requires direct language proficiency. Second, the network effects we discussed are so strong that they're self-reinforcing.
Plus, even if translation technology eliminates communication barriers, English speakers still get first access to new information and opportunities, right?
Exactly. And there's something about thinking directly in the language of global business and innovation. When you can consume content, generate ideas, and communicate insights without the cognitive overhead of translation, you operate at a different level of speed and nuance.
What trends do you see that might increase English's importance even more?
Virtual reality and the metaverse will likely operate primarily in English initially. As more business moves to virtual environments, English proficiency will become even more critical. Plus, as AI becomes more integrated into daily work, and those AI systems perform better in English, the advantage compounds further.
Before we wrap up, let's share some inspiring success stories. David, can you tell us about someone whose life was dramatically changed by English proficiency?
Sure. I know a woman named Maria from a small town in Guatemala. She was working in a local textile factory making about $200 per month. She spent 2 years studying English using free online resources and apps. Now she works remotely for a U.S. digital marketing agency, earning $3,000 per month while still living in her hometown. She's supporting her extended family and started a scholarship program for local kids to learn English.
That's a 15x income increase. And she's creating positive change in her community. I love that ripple effect.
And here's what's beautiful about Maria's story. She didn't have to abandon her culture or move away from her family. English gave her economic mobility while allowing her to stay rooted in her community. She's actually become a bridge, helping local businesses connect with international markets.
I have a similar story about Ahmed from Morocco. He was a talented graphic designer but limited to local clients. After improving his English, he started freelancing on international platforms like Upwork and 99 Designs. Now he runs a design agency with clients across 3 continents and employs 6 other designers from his region.
Sarah, before we conclude, let's address some common concerns people have about prioritizing English learning. One I hear a lot is, "I'm too old to learn English effectively."
Research actually shows that adults have some advantages in language learning, particularly in understanding grammar rules and making connections to existing knowledge. Plus, adults are often more motivated by clear, practical goals, like career advancement or business opportunities.
Another misconception is that you need to achieve native-level fluency to access opportunities. That's simply not true. Business-level English proficiency, being able to communicate clearly in professional contexts, is sufficient for most opportunities we've discussed.
And people worry about the time investment. But even dedicating 30 minutes daily to focused English practice can lead to significant improvement within a year. The key is consistency and focusing on practical, career-relevant skills.
Plus, the return on investment is enormous. Even if it takes 2 years to achieve professional fluency, the potential for increased earning, better opportunities, and global access can transform not just your life, but your family's future.
As we wrap up this conversation, David, what's your key takeaway for our listeners about English and opportunities in 2025?
Sarah, I think the most important point is that English proficiency has become a force multiplier for almost every other skill and talent you have. Whether you're a brilliant engineer, a creative artist, an innovative entrepreneur, or a dedicated teacher, English amplifies your ability to share that brilliance with the world and access the resources to develop it further.
I love that framing. English as a force multiplier. It doesn't replace your existing skills. It amplifies them. And the opportunities we've discussed today, remote work, online education, global markets, digital content creation, they're not going anywhere. If anything, they're expanding.
For listeners who are inspired to improve their English, I'd say start today, but start strategically. Identify which opportunities excite you most, then focus your English learning on the specific skills those opportunities require. Don't try to master everything at once.
And remember, you're not just investing in language skills. You're investing in access. Access to information, opportunities, networks, and tools that can reshape your personal and professional trajectory.
Most importantly, view this as additive, not subtractive. You're not losing anything about your cultural identity or native language abilities. You're gaining a tool that connects you to the global economy and the worldwide community of people creating the future.
That's beautifully said. Thank you to our listeners for joining us for this deep dive into why English has become the key to opportunities in 2025. We'd love to hear your stories, questions, and experiences with English learning and global opportunities.
Subscribe to Global Perspectives if you enjoyed this episode, and share it with someone who might benefit from this conversation. The more we can help people understand and access these opportunities, the more we can create a globally connected and economically empowered world.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep connecting. I'm Sarah Martinez.
And I'm David Chin. Thanks for listening.